I wasn't saying you were. It just was funny.
My mom would kill me if I did that.
You eventually did, though.
Well, I mean, he took it, from his end, so.
So, okay, all right, you were a senior, he was a teacher, and then how long after that did you meet him in the mall?
It was like that summer, yeah, it was early.
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah, we got married, we were married in 1975.
Okay.
So.
Now, did he go to a church in the area, or did he just start joining you, or was he a Christian back then?
He wasn't really going anywhere in the area because he was just living with another friend of his. And, we just kind of met and we start coming. He started going to church with me there, and then we got married at the Church of Redeemer in Lorraine. But then when we moved, start coming here, yeah, he did start coming with me.
So who was he? What, was interest besides football, but just describe Tom for us. Because one cool thing is I was doing some research for this interview, and so on YouTube there's this interview that he did with some local news station. I think, I don't know what it was, but it's kind of a cool snapshot. But who was Tom?
How do I describe him? He was just, I don't know, he was just an easygoing guy, wasn't a big shot, never wanted to be a big shot, was just himself. That was just him. He came from a regular family from Strongsville, nothing big, just.
That's good.
I was kind of younger when I met or knew him, and he did seem to be quiet.
Yeah,
and
he
his
was
personality, like not outgoing, but while still being a leader on the field.
Right, you're right. But he was very good with the kids, always did extra things for the kids, always gave them extra things as far as at school and whatnot. That's just how he was.
So let's get into that at school. So he was the football coach I was looking that up. So he was the football coach down here at Clearview.
Right.
For 23 years. He had his final record was 147 wins and 69 losses, which is a very, very good record. So obviously he did a good job there. He had, just so everybody knows out there, he only had 3 losing seasons. He had 10 playoff appearances, 10 league titles, and he's been so successful as a coach that this year he was inducted into the Lorraine Sports Hall of Fame, and so that was pretty cool. And even the Clearview Field is named in his honor.
Right.
So was football was that his full-time job, or did he have other stuff with that?
He was an actual teacher. Football was extra, and then once the one athletic director left, that's what he went into, was athletic director coaching then. Okay. So that's what he was.
He was teaching for a while. How long was it before they found out that he would make a good coach or athletic director?
Or was he already kind of on the team coaching?
He was already on the team coaching his first year.
The first year, okay.
Yeah.
So he's probably he's pretty much been a football guy or a sports fan from the get-go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So why did he coach, though? Was it just he loved football, or did he kind of view it as a larger mission,
I think he did it because he enjoyed being with the kids and doing that. Of course, I did all the work. every Thursday, he had a late practice, not right after school. So every Thursday, the boys wanted Rice Krispie Squares.
The boys on the football team?
Yeah, so I did that week after week after week because that's all they ever wanted. So I did tray after tray after tray of Rice Krispie Squares for those kids.
Well, that explains the winning record for sure.
The secret wasn't his coaching, it was you. That's awesome. Because I do, even, as having been a teacher or different positions like that and different people, they don't view it just as a job, well, I'm just teaching math. It's like I'm in that position so I can influence kids' lives for the positive.
Right.
And, Tom, being around no telling how many hundreds of young men over the years, was able to, as a Christian, speak into their life. And some of them might not have had parents or father figures, and so just to be a strong, I didn't know, if he kind of viewed it like that as well.
He was very good with the kids, and he enjoyed doing extra things, and that's just how he was.
do you think maybe he looked at that as maybe, I don't know how much into thinking about it as a ministry, but just being able to relate and lead young men, do you think that maybe he saw that as God maybe using him?
Yeah, definitely, yes.
And did he do anything at the church? Did he hold any?
He did teach Sunday school.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
That's awesome.
I think it was under Sister Marshall, so now that goes way
Probably.
back, you know that.
Probably was. I think a lot of us got involved in stuff through Sister Marshall or with Sister Marshall. So, all right, awesome.
So, before we get to the football career ending and the sad story there, could you tell us maybe some of the highlights, of the football, or what are some of your memories besides slaving and making the Rice Krispie squares?
Well, like I said, we just went to all the games and followed him and whatnot, and, I might not have acted real nice at some of the games if people got on him, but I tried to control it,
Yelling at the refs and stuff? No. So,
well, no, I'll give you an example. There was a teacher behind us that I was sitting with, and he goes, "Oh, I'm going to have to tell Tom he called the wrong play on Monday when I get back to school." I turned around and I said, "I'll tell him tonight if you want me."
That's funny. That's awesome.
That was a nice subtle way of settling that.
Okay, so he was a coach for 23 years and up until 1997. So could you kind of share what happened that night, Friday night? Maybe paint the picture leading up to it, and then tell us the events.
He told me he was having pain like in his shoulder, but he set up an appointment to go to the doctor and was waiting for actually to get in to see the doctor. And that night, I didn't find this out till after he was gone, but the guy or the lady that was on there as the team doctor or the team, sports guy or person, she told me that he was complaining about something before the game, and she said, "Oh, I just told him you're just nervous about the game." And so she let it go at that.
So this all happened at a football
At his first football game in that season, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was at Clearview?
It was at Clearview,
home?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So he was, but he was pretty healthy his whole life. He was just having some shoulder pains.
Yeah, so that's why he's made an appointment to go have a check because he didn't know what was going on or whatever, and that was his complaint. Nothing with anything in the chest or anything like that.
So could you share with us, though, maybe, or what happened at that first game of that season?
It was halftime, and they all went in. Coming out after halftime, I didn't see him come out. And the team was coming out, and the coaches, and then I saw a coach coming up the bleachers looking for me. And they said that, well, then the way he was, too, he sat in his office while the boys were in there discussing what they were going to do second half before he complained about, anything. That's how he was. And he just came up and told me, oh, they're taking him to the hospital, that, he was having pains or something, and they're taking him. And so we just went from there. They took him, and we just went down to the hospital. But we never got to see him again, still alive.
Did he pass away at the field, or did they pass away?
No, at the hospital, but it seemed like it took forever. Because I was there, we got there, we went right away, and I think it was like 11:30, so like that, before they even came out and told us, you know what I'm saying? Almost midnight.
Did the whole time you kind of knew what was happening, like you knew it was some heart
I
attack?
was hoping, seeing it wasn't that they didn't come out right away, that it was something that they were working on him and everything was going to, work out and things were going to be okay, and,
And so the game, nobody really at the field knew what was going on? They just kind of played and finished the game?
The three coaches that was under him kept coaching the second half, and nobody really knew until after the game what happened, so.
So what was your, describe for us, your feelings, your emotions?
taking care of my kids, first of all, because they had a hard time with it.
Because wait, how old were your
Hi,
boys
yeah.
then?
16, 14, and Andrew was just going to be 3 in October, so he wasn't quite 3 yet. So taking care of them, and I got to admit, my oldest one just came through like a trooper, though. He just did stuff for me that I didn't even expect, you know what I'm saying? He was just always there for me and helping me with the little one and just doing things, you know, all the time for me. It was just very, very helpful.
I have heard of that before, where sometimes the oldest sibling tries to take on the role
Yeah,
and do the best they can.
when we got back that night from the hospital, he looked at me and goes, "Mom, just let us all sleep in the family room together." I said, "That's fine, you can do that." So that gave me the opportunity to go in and ask God, never take me away from my sons. I always want to be here for.
Yeah. I can't imagine, though, just how difficult that is. Not just losing a spouse, but losing one suddenly and unexpectedly, you know, not being able to say goodbye. You know, could you elaborate on that maybe a little, just like about that aspect of it? What feelings and kind of come with that as well.
You explained it right there. It's like you're numb. What do? You know, you're by yourself. You got 3 boys to take care of, and it's just, you know, I put my faith and trust in the Lord. That's all I can tell you, because without Him, I don't know where I'd be today. I really don't.
So if you were to imagine having to go through this without knowing God or having
I
a
couldn't
church
even
to
imagine
lean
it.
on,
Yeah.
you know, when you look at people in this world, you wonder, how do people get, I mean, it's tough sometimes being a Christian, getting through things. Imagine just not having God to turn to.
Right.
And not having that hope of seeing Tom again.
Mm-hmm.
And is that something that you often think about?
Right, yeah.
Because that was last week in the interview, Brother Tony talked, what are some of the things that helped him get through the loss of his daughter, and one of the things was having that eternal perspective, you know, realizing that if this was it, then it would, I don't know how you couldn't be into total despair and forever,
Right.
because you'll never be reunited, but that Christian hope we have of seeing on the other side, I think it really is a comforting thought. Is there anything else that maybe helped you? Were there people, besides just your boy stepping up, was there anybody else that really
Well,
helped
my
you?
dad was there for me.
Oh, good.
So he was really good with the kids and stuff, and always, you know, made sure they were fine and everything else. So he was there for me too. I mean, everybody in my family helped me out. It was, you know.
And I know I hung around quite a bit with your youngest, Andrew, and he, to me, he would talk of his dad as if, you know, he'd been with him for years.
Yeah,
and he was only
I know.
3.
Yeah.
And when I look at all your boys, it seems like they almost carry on being kind of like their dad. Is that how you see it?
Well, all 3 of them are teachers, if that tells you something.
Mm-hmm.
And Andrew is big into football. He's my one that wanted to do it, and Andrew's the one that I shouldn't say I feel sorry for him the most, but he is so much like his dad as far as the interest and the things he likes to do, and I thought he didn't even really know his dad.
Right,
you
that's
know?
what I feel like
But,
about
yeah,
when I'm
yeah.
around him. So, and he's I don't know if he still is. I know he's done some coaching in sports as well.
Who's Brian?
Andrew.
Andrew's into, he's coaching at football in Keystone.
Wow.
And then he does wrestling too. He loves to do wrestling.
So in general, you would call yourselves quite the sports family then, even before Tom passed. So.
What having lived through that experience, what words of advice, encouragement would you give to somebody first that has lost a spouse and lost a spouse unexpectedly?
Personally, for me, I had to put all my faith and trust in the Lord. That's all I could do. That's what I live for, and that's what I do. I mean, it's just, you know, I don't know how else to I mean, you just go day by day and take it day by day.
Trusting that even if you can't see, God does have a plan, I guess. And
yeah, I do. I mean, that's what I look at.
yeah, that's hard for some people. Some people, it's easy to kind of do that, but some, unfortunately, in a situation become very bitter and angry at God. Why do you think that you didn't get angry, in the end?
Because I still had my 3 boys to take care of.
That's a good answer. Because they were kind of dependent on you, right?
Yeah.
And it seems like with a lot of the stories we hear up there and up here, and a lot of stories are tragic, but it just seems like those who stayed faithful to God seemed to put some comfort in their life, whether in your case through the boys, or in some case friends at church, or pastors and parents, and just so many. It is glory to God that even in the toughest times, sometimes we don't even expect the way God does things for us or takes us through it, but in the end we can turn around and say, yeah, I mean, God really moved and provided in my time of need. So that's a great story, and I appreciate you sharing a tough story to tell and a tough thing to talk about.
Yes, and I appreciate your attitude about it too. Just your positivity, and I don't know. I've been here for 2 years, and I didn't always know who the gray-haired lady was that sat in the middle, but seemed very sweet, and you've lived up to that. I really appreciate your countenance, your faithfulness. So,
and that stuff gets noticed. I would say the same thing. I noticed that faithfulness, and you're one of the ones that I always think of when I think of, you know what, no matter what, faithful to God, faithful to church, and that goes a long way, and it does inspire others. And there's so many in church that do that. I also remember camp. You did a lot of stuff at camp, didn't you? Kitchen,
yeah.
You did that for how long?
Oh, quite a number of years.
Yeah.
Did you make Rice Krispie treats? No,
I don't think so.
What did you do out there?
I was the head cook out there. I had to organize everything and get everything, and
I'm sure that was a lot of work.
I enjoyed it though. I enjoyed it.
So I asked about the what advice for the losing a spouse. What advice would you give to those who are trying to raise children that have similarly are single? Maybe not maybe because their spouse left them, or they lost a spouse. What advice and encouragement would you give to somebody like that?
I would have to tell them that they need to just support their kids and be with them always. Just watch over them. I pray for my kids constantly, my grandkids constantly. I mean, I just want them to be in the Lord's hands all the time.
How many grandkids do you have now?
5.
Wow, I didn't even realize that. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So,
are there any other miracles or any other stories from your life that you would like to share?
I have to just share one thing that happened to me, because I'm just thinking, the way you live and the way you talk and stuff with people is like a big, proves what you believe in and who you are. Because my last year at school, I went in the cafeteria, the teacher's lounge cafeteria, to get my lunch out of the refrigerator. And there was a teacher there, and she was cussing up a storm. I mean, she was mad about something. She was talking to another teacher, and she was just cussing like crazy. And I walked in, got my lunch, and I didn't eat in there. I always went somewhere else to eat. So I was getting my lunch out. She turned around, she goes, "Mrs. Hoch, I didn't know you were in here." She goes, "I am so sorry you heard all that." And I'm thinking, okay, it's not the first time, but I'm just saying, but I was like, I guess it goes to show you, if you, prove that you're a Christian and what you believe in, people are going to have some respect for you.
And we don't realize that sometimes, do we? You can work in a place and think, do I even make a difference?
That's when she said it, I'm thinking, okay, I mean, I was pleased that she felt that way, but It was like.
It's not that if you would have gone in there day one and be like, all right, no cussing around me, people would have been like, who is this lady? But by living a godly example.
Yeah, I was going to say, I never said anything to anybody about that. That was just,
Yeah, people definitely see that. There is a light, a salt that comes with being a Christian and just being a kind, loving
Right.
Christian, as opposed to, like you say, you go in and say, here's the rules. Now I go to this church and this is what we do and this is how you're going to behave. And that could really turn some people off. I'm afraid we
Correct.
see that a lot
Yeah.
in this church age. But letting the Holy Spirit, letting God work through you and you just being a representative is well, that's what we've seen in you. And you definitely testify to that. I can testify to that. And I'm sure everyone at some point in your life can testify to that.
Is there anything you'd like to add as we wrap things up today? Any final words, stories, anything you want to share with the congregation? Now's your moment.
No, not really. I'll be honest with you. I think I told you just about everything I could think of. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you for agreeing to share your story with us today, and let's give her a hand. Thank you. But thank you very much, and we appreciate you. So, happy birthday too, by the way. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for this great story that Sister Dorie has shared with us this morning, and thank you that even the most tragic situations don't have to ruin our faith, but God, that we can trust you through it all, and we've seen this example this morning. And thank you for her faith and sharing that with us today. And we might not go through the identical circumstance she did, but all of us have difficult times in our life. Help us to keep trusting you, having faith in you, knowing that you have bigger plans and purposes for our lives that we might not even be able to see. But we need to persevere, Lord, I pray. Help us in the services today. To you be all the glory. In Jesus' name, amen.